Here, Davey Vega.
Davey Vega. Fun thing about Davey Vega, I hated Davey Vega when I first met him. I don't know why. I just had that little quirk about him that I didn't like. But now Davey Vega, another guy that's like started off like you told me in a conversation. You know, if I can say this, that you didn't start off a fan as Davey Vega. You know, like,
As a person, I did.
Yeah, as a person, but in ring,
yeah.
He's a great guy, but in ring he just went from like here. And like now he's like the top guy in the area. Everywhere he goes, he's putting on 5-star matches. Everywhere he goes, he's doing what he does best. Like he lives the gym, he breathes wrestling. Like all he thinks about and cares about is the gym and wrestling. And he's another guy. Like I believe, like the right person will see him and he'll get his big opportunity. So Davey Vega is uber talented.
Let's go to tag teams now. Former MWR Tag Team of the Year, the Hooligans, who will be wrestling tonight.
Oh, the Hooligans?
Devin and Mason.
I love those guys. I've had a couple run-ins in the ring with them, and it was always fun. I've never really had that one big tag team match with me and someone from the squad versus them. But those guys are other people that are very talented, very tough. I find them very funny, too. So overall, they're very tough guys, and they're really good in the ring.
I'm going to let you name drop somebody from Anarchy that is in tag team that we might not know of. We know the Hooligans. Who up in Texas is the equivalent of the Hooligans? Is there any tag team there?
That's hard because like the Hooligans are kind of like their own little level in my opinion.
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah, there's a lot of good tag teams in Texas. I'd have to say when Showtime Scott Summers and Messiah were tagging up, they were up there. When Pierre and Evan obviously were tagging up because sometimes they don't tag all the way down there, they were there. And actually, the team the Hooligans are wrestling tonight, JoJo Bravado. JoJo Bravo and Jordan Jetson, they're actually tagging against the Hooligans tonight. And those guys, I've seen a lot of their work, and like obviously it's a diamond in the rough, but like every time I see them, they're out there doing stuff I can't do, and they're doing stuff that like I've never seen. And they've definitely stepped their game up since they've started in ACW in Texas, which wasn't too terribly long ago. So I like eventually, I'm thinking here anytime soon, like I'd put those guys because they tag regularly down in Texas on the same level as the Hooligans. So yeah, I'd say those are the only ones I can think of.
So we'll have an exciting matchup tonight between.
No, definitely. Yeah, that'll be probably one to watch because most people don't really know those two guys, but it's definitely one you want to stay in your seat for, not like go to the bathroom or get a beer.
Okay,
get a beer during intermission.
During intermission, there you go. Jordan Lacey.
Jordan Lacey, the old lace base. Another guy. As soon as I started in wrestling, he was the one that actually originally trained me. He basically was at a bar with our buddy Peter Townsley, and if you go in LWA history, you'll find that name. Peter Townsley worked at this bar, met Jordan Lacey. He gave him a flyer. We're starting a wrestling promotion. This is all in Fenton, Missouri. He came over to me and Pierre. We were at Pierre's place drinking, underage. And Pete was like, oh, like, because we all watched wrestling and wanted to do it. We just really didn't have the capability of knowing where to go because, you know, we're teenagers. We're like high school kids that don't know what's up, you know. So finally we get that. We basically meet Jordan Lacey and his wonderful wife, Dawn. Dawn, I love you. You've been there since the beginning, too. Met them, like, and then ended up setting up a ring. The ring that we use today in his side yard in a trailer court. Started training, and then we just ended up meeting Nick Tyson and Adam Raw, kind of gotten in the fold, and then just kind of snowballed into what you see today, like a very big snowball that it has had, like, some melting problems, but we always patch them up. So Jordan Lacey, great guy, very entertaining. Like people like, oh, just another big guy, but you know he's like a step above a big guy because I've seen him do some things. I'm like, wow, I didn't know he can do that. And I always like his back hair. I always noticed his back hair. I was like, man, that guy's got a great set of back hair. It's like a beard, but bigger. You know what I mean? So very talented. I love his new gimmick he's doing these days with the stripper kind of thing and whatnot. So yeah, Jordan Lacey, very talented for his size.
Most definitely. Let's see here, Gary. I had it on the tip of my tongue, but the back hair got me. Let me tell you. Yeah. As far as Darren Childs. Darren Childs, last time we were here at Granite City, he challenged Dan Walsh.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We saw him up at River's Edge the time before that. He was in the match with Darren Corbin as well. Came up short.
Yeah.
So Darren Childs.
Darren Childs obviously has a very big hand in helping run. He runs ACW with 2 or 3 other people down in Texas. I owe a lot to Darren. he gave two guys an opportunity to drive 14 hours back in the day and put it in wrestling. He'd never seen us. He booked us, didn't even think we were going to show up. But me and Pierre showed up for that 14-hour drive, and we pretty much from there started going month by month, if not every other month. And then we had a really big tag match in Texas. It was me and Dingo versus Nick Tyson and Pierre, and like it went really well. And then we just go down month to month now, like if not twice a month when they run. I owe a lot to him. He's helped us out. He's helped us get opportunities. And shit, if you've seen Darren Childs from about 6-7 years ago, he's dropped like an atrocious amount of weight. Like he's in the gym constantly working hard. Like this is another guy that like does it because he loves it, because of his passion, not because of the BS. So he's another guy, great guy. I know it sounds like I'm saying it about everybody, but like I know him pretty well, and like he's very dedicated to what he does, and obviously it shows in his work.
And most definitely, you and I have known each other for about 5 years. You know, you were in the St. Louis scene and so forth, and then you talk about that, taking that trip to Texas, to Anarchy and working with Darren Childs with them. It's had to excel your skill level working with different type of people, would you say?
Absolutely,
I mean, twice as much, you know, as far as the road, like you said, opportunities and so forth. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Working with new people is always a pleasure. It's always fun because you take what they have, what you have, and put it together and mix it up and drink it. You know, it's like a fucking shake, you know? And pretty much, and if you put it out on the canvas per se, legit canvas, you know, in the ring, it's like hopefully people will like it. But yeah, it's always a pleasure to meet new people. I love traveling. I love rest stops in the middle of the night. I just love truck stops overall. Lot lizards, those are funny stories, which is pretty much a hooker, if you don't know that. Lot lizards, a hooker on a truck stop. How I know this? I don't know. People tell me. But pretty much love traveling. That's pretty much, if you don't love traveling, and like you might as well just stay in your area, which is if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But a lot of the guys I travel with, this is all they want to do. This is all they ever talk about. It's pretty much like their addiction. It's an obsession kind of thing. In a healthy way, some not as healthy. But yeah, working with new people helps everybody out, you know. And if we ever got the opportunity to go to a new place, we always give it 110%. I mean, we always try to give them something they don't know or seen, because we're pretty good at a couple of things. Obviously, we're not the biggest dudes in the yard, but you know, we'll pretty much do whatever it takes to get the audience's appeal. If that being funny, good, bad, sad, ugly, whatever, you know. As long as the crowd's having a good time, you're doing your job right.
And with wrestling and so forth, the wrestling fans here in St. Louis have a chance to see stars from Texas that they normally wouldn't do. So it's just been a perfect team up for you guys.
Yeah.
How do you see wrestling today, Gary, as opposed to 5 years ago whenever I first met you in House Springs?
Like wrestling on the indie level, wrestling on like the national television level.
Let's go with the indie. Well, let's go with national, because national it all trickles down.
Yeah.
And let's go to the national level right now. How do you feel?
I don't have cable, obviously, because you know I'm not making the bills as I should be. But I don't have cable, so the only like let's say WWE stuff I watch would be like their big pay-per-views.
Okay. Which
I'd say the last one I saw was WrestleMania, and as a fan, because I try not to talk as a wrestler when I watch other wrestling. It's like I enjoyed it. Sure, not everything went 100% like it should have. Whatever. You order that stuff to have a good time and have fun and watch a show as you come to indie shows. You know, you forget life for a couple hours. You just go drink with your friends. If you don't drink, come hang out for the good barbecue or whatever concessions they have. But I'd say WrestleMania I loved. Like that Taker Triple H match was out of this world. Like, I get goosebumps when I think of that. I sound like a kid, but that was an awesome match. Pretty much the whole card I enjoyed. I'm sure other people would disagree with like the first match on the card with Bryan Danielson and who do you wrestle? Sheamus. Ooh, it was too short, but in the long run, the story paid off. I mean, they were just, you know, baby steps to the finish, you know. I enjoyed WrestleMania, so WWE, like, I don't catch as much. I hear good, bad. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, they've pretty much geared everything towards kids, which isn't a bad idea, because everybody these days looks like they have kids, and, like, kids are the biggest market around right now. You can't do the attitude stuff because it's been done, and sure, everything's been done in wrestling because wrestling's been around forever. Like, if it's been on television, it's been done, you know? So I'd say WWE, like, over as a company, and like, as like, I guess you could, I don't watch TNA at all. I know a couple guys that you got some opportunities on there on the X Division pay-per-view, which is phenomenal for them. I hope they they get contracts and they run with that ball. But I don't really watch any of that TNA.
Who were they?
Flip Kendricks, I think he was Flip something,
Okay.
Cass something, and Shima Zion, or I think it's Zima. He's the X Division champion now. I met those guys in Ohio with AIW and Beyond Wrestling, and those guys are uber talented, and I'm so happy to see them getting the opportunities. They're very talented guys. And it's cool to see. I heard Austin Aries won the actual TNA title, or is it the Impact title? I don't know what they call it. So that's cool. It's cool to see guys that started like kind of where you started and worked their way all the way up the Indies, the top of the Indies, and now they're on the top of the two biggest companies' cards. Well, there's Punk, Danielson, Aries, right? Yeah. Is Danielson the champ? Who is champ? It's Punk. Sheamus is champ.
I think he's going into
Yeah.
going for the championship match this weekend in pay-per-view. But I'm like you, I don't buy the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So
The only ones I'll buy or watch are like the big 2 or 3: SummerSlam, Survivor Series. If King of the Ring was around, I'd be there. I love King of the Ring. That's my goal in wrestling. I want to win King of the Ring. So if that ever starts up again, throw my name in the hat. But yeah,
King Gary, huh?
King Ginger, it works.
King
you know?
Ginger, huh? Back to the independent area. 5 years have passed since we met. House
Yeah.
Springs, you put a lot of hard work and sweat into LWA. It has transformed into St. Louis Anarchy.
Yeah.
Is it better, worse? What is good? What is bad? Let's start with the good, so that way we can think about it.
St. Louis Anarchy obviously started off as LWA, and I've been there since day one. That's where I trained. That's where I first had my first matches. That's when I was first Gary the Barn out. Yes, that was me. I don't have a twin. New stuff you find out every day when you get on the internet. But basically, I've been there since like day one. We've had our ups, as people have seen. We've had our bad draws. We've had, we've pretty much been through everything. Like as a whole, as a company, in a group of people that help run them. We've lost people in management, obviously, like, the Frankie Big Balls isn't around anymore. The Nick Tyson, who's retired. And I'm trying to think who else. Admiral, he trickles in and out, but, I still talk to him regularly more than I talk to Nick Tyson or Frankie Big Balls. We've had our guys go, we've come, but I think overall as a company, from like very birth to what we do now, I think LWA was more about like outrageous, funny gimmicks and like crazy videos, because we had the 2 screens with the funny videos. Some I agreed with, some I didn't, but whatever makes the show or company better. Now that we started St. Louis Anarchy, now that we're part of the Anarchy family overall, I think like the wrestling has like went through the roof. Like the company value of like standards in wrestling, like if you pay for one of our shows, you're gonna get your money's worth. If it be technical wrestling you like, high-flying wrestling you like, hardcore wrestling, we pretty much have sprinkled all of that into one, and like now we try to put on the best shows possible. And sure, there's times when anybody can work on anything. Like I look at it as like, okay, we have a show, we want to put on the best product for the best value, And obviously nowadays it's like what, $22 to $25 to go to the movies, and that's expensive unless the movie's worth it. Dark Knight Rising comes out next Thursday. Cheap plug for people who never meet me. But we pretty much want to give everybody their money's worth. That's our biggest concern. And putting on quality DVDs. And so people can be like, I was at the show, so I can go to smartmark.com and buy that DVD. And like, oh, this DVD is great. Maybe now we'll go to a live show. I'll bring some friends. It pretty much trickles down from there. But as a company whole, I'm very proud of what we've done. Very proud. As I guess I have a lot to do with now what happens behind the scenes, and a lot of it happens the day of. Like, I feel like I try to do the best I can do. I'm just there to help the guys out now. Like, I'm that guy that, I'm not worried about myself. That's the biggest thing. I don't care about myself. I want to help this guy who's really good that people don't know yet. I want to help him out. And I've been wrestling 8 years. Like, that's not very long at all. But my eyes are like, there's guys out there that are better looking than me, better shape, and they're better than me, and I'd rather just help them out. Like, and I'm having a good time doing it, obviously. But I mean, helping other people is a big part of this too, and that's with any company or any organization. If it's not a team effort, you can tell. Like, you can clearly tell it's not a team effort. But I'm very proud of what we've done. I'm very proud of because obviously GCW was one of the biggest things years and years ago. LWA started, and we've kind of got momentum. We've had our ups and downs like a roller coaster. GCW went out of business. LWA, we were like, you know what? It's just into what it used to be. Some things have changed. We're like, let's pretty much go with our gut instinct and, become a member of the Anarchy family, because we're very close to everybody down in Texas. And it just has worked out pretty well, and I hope the fans have enjoyed it.
softly let